Today is June 24th, 2012, and we are interviewing Grace Irene Baker Myers at the Quincy, Illinois.
Myers-Baker.
Myers-Baker, excuse me. Mrs. Myers,
Baker.
Mrs. Baker, was born January 29th, 1921. My name is Cheryl Walker, and I'll be interviewing Mrs. Baker. Mrs. Baker, could you state for the record what war and branch of service you served in?
It was World War II, and I was in the Waves, the Navy Waves.
And what was your rank?
Yeoman, second class.
And where were you stationed at?
Washington, D.C.
And what did you actually do in the Waves?
Our yeoman is a clerical clerk. So I did clerical duties, typing, filing, just general office work.
What were some of the things that you typed?
Basically, they were called extracts, and we were in an intelligence unit, and they were extracted items from captured foreign documents, German, Italian, some Japanese, and the people that would knew those other languages would pull them out and maybe translate them, and then we had to type them.
Do you remember anything that you ever
We
typed?
were told to forget it all, and I did a good job on that.
Did you, having to forget everything, were your communications back home censored?
No. We were just on our own not to tell anything that went on in the office, but I could write anything that I wanted to write to my parents.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
Just the usual ones. And I really don't recall the names of them. It was one that we'd served during that conflict, and another one for, it's a general, nothing special.
What about your time there? How long did you serve in Washington, D.C.?
Almost 3 years.
Did you go anywhere else?
No.
How did you get along with your officers and fellow soldiers?
Just fine. Never had any problems.
Were your officers male or female?
Both.
Did you, with that kind of position, and did you feel any anxiety or pressures?
Not really.
Did you keep a personal diary?
No.
Do you wish
I
you had?
should have, yes.
Did you make any good friends?
Yes, but I never kept in touch with them. To this date, I don't have any contact with any of them. I did for a while, but somehow or other we lost contact. One very good friend, I knew she moved, and she quit writing after a while.
Can you tell us about a couple of memorable experiences?
Can't think of too many. When we were off duty, I spent a great deal of time at what was called the Women's USO, a service center. Actually, there were as many men as women there. But one of the volunteers there quite often was Bess Truman, whose husband at that time was vice president. When he became president, our story told to us was that Secret Service would not allow her to volunteer anymore. So she was no longer there. That's always been a memorable experience for me.
Was she a pretty interesting woman?
Yes, she was, and very down to earth. We girls could just sit down and talk to her like you'd talk to your mother. And that was pretty much her role there, was the mother or confidant to anyone. She just talked to anybody.
Did you miss that after she was unable to?
Yeah, we did, but there were others there that were doing the same thing. So, we transferred. But yes, we missed her.
Did you have something special for good luck?
No.
How was it staying in touch with your family?
Why, just by letters.
So it wasn't difficult?
No.
Okay. What about the food? Since you were stationed in Washington, D.C., was it pretty good?
Yes, we ate we had a mess hall that we ate in. We ate breakfast and evening meal in the mess hall. And lunch, when we were on duty, they had a cafeteria in the Navy building that we ate in.
Did you stay in the barracks?
Yes.
Well, how many were in a room?
2. Well, they weren't exactly rooms. They were just cubicles with an open end. And there was a double deck bunk in each cubicle.
So which one?
I was always on the bottom because I was short and I couldn't get to the top.
Did you have inspections every day, or?
Not every day, but occasionally, yes. We usually knew when there was going to be an inspection.
Did you have to spit shine your shoes just like everybody else?
I guess we did. I don't recall too much.
Were there any entertainers that came to see you at the USO?
Well, there were people would come in. They were more or less just amateurs. I remember there was one couple, she played the piano and he led singing and that. When we were in basic, we were a month, I think it was, at Barnard College, which was where all of the women went for the waves. And the Tex Beneke band came there. And I recall that.
And where was Marnie?
That was in New York City. Barnard College in New York City. Then we sent from there to Cedar Falls, Iowa for yeoman training. And then to Washington, D.C., where we actually worked.
Did you travel while you were in the service?
Not too much. We went on short little trips. I recall one weekend, or I think it was just Sunday, we went down to Mount Vernon, Washington, and visited there. I took one weekend and went up to New York City with another girl. I had an aunt living in Philadelphia at the time, and I made several trips to Philadelphia and stayed a weekend with my aunt.
Did you travel by train?
Yes.
Did you play pranks on each other?
What was your highest rank?
Not that I recall. I guess we probably did. It was more like college dorm, we were all college-age girls, most of us, and the things that would go on in a college dorm was practically the same as what we were doing.
Do you recall the day your service ended?
I can't recall the exact date, but yeah, I remember when I came home and mustered out.
Was there a big celebration that day?
No, you just went through the routine, signing the papers and being interviewed, and here you are. Off we went.
What about when you came home? Was there a big celebration for you coming home?
No, no.
What did you do after you got out of the service?
I worked a year in an office, and I wasn't too happy. And as I sat there, well, one of the things was I was sitting and doing my typing, and next to me in the next desk was another woman who was doing the same sort of routine typing, and she celebrated her 25th year with the company. And I sat there and I thought, if I stay here for 25 years, I could move to her desk. That's as far as I could go. And you know what? I could go to college. Gee, I would pay for it. So I turned in my resignation and went to Western University. Got my degree.
And what was your degree in?
My degree was in home economics. But then later on, I went back. Illinois veterans had a program, and I got my master's degree in counseling.
And so did you teach?
I did for a short while, yes.
And then what did you do?
Oh, I did a number of things. Basically, I had gotten married along the line. And when I got married, my husband was a widower with a 5-year-old son. So I took some time off to be a full-time mother. Then I worked as teacher for a while, and then I've worked in offices.
So you took advantage of some of the benefits.
Tried to.
Did you take advantage of anything else of the veteran benefits?
This flight. That's the only thing I can think of. But
What was this flight like?
wonderful, wonderful to get back there. And Washington has changed so much. As I said, I was there all during the war, most of the war. And the building that we worked in has been taken down. There was very, very little. I said, well, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial still look the same, but everything else is different.
So did it bring back memories?
Oh, yeah, some. Mm-hmm. But more of it was noticing how much different it is. It isn't the same.
Did you join any veteran organizations?
No, I belonged to the American Legion Auxiliary, but I never joined the Legion itself. Mainly because I thought I didn't want to be with nothing but men. However, they're getting more women in, and I think if I were to do it again, I might change my mind.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war and the military in general?
I'm not sure about that. Probably, yes. I think there ought to be another way of solving difficulties. And the current wars are even more horrible, I think.
How did you feel being a woman in the waves? How did that make your life different? Do you think it made your life different?
I don't know. I don't know. I just felt that I had to follow in. You see, my mother was in the Navy. They called them yeomanettes during World War I. There were only 10,000 women in the Navy, which compared to World War II is a very small number. And I had 2 brothers that were in the Army, and I felt like I had to go in. I had to follow I couldn't let my brothers get ahead of me, and especially since my mother had been in the Navy. So I went in the Navy. And I am claiming to be the only World War II wave with a mother of World War I. Now, I'm waiting for somebody to challenge that because there's, as far as I know, no way of checking because all women changed their name.
So you have a long line, long history.
We have a history, yes, of service.
Do you have any children or grandchildren that went into
No.
service?
I guess it stopped there. I had the two brothers in during World War I, but then later on I had two younger brothers that served in the Navy. One was in during Korea conflict, and the other one after that, he was lucky, I guess. He didn't get into any real conflicts. So we all served.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Can't think of anything.
Well, it's an honor being able to interview you.
Well, it's been an honor to be able to go on the flight and to remember some of the things that I was able to do, even though they weren't very spectacular.
It was spectacular, and I thank you.
Thank you.